Goalkeepers, Christian from Keeperstop.com. I'm here with a special guest today. We have a YouTube live with a pro goalkeeper and a mental health advocate. Nothing but the best here. This is Chris Kirkland. Say hello.
Hello. You okay?
Yeah, thank you for joining us today. For me, mental health is such a hot button right now because I think there needs to be a greater focus for goalkeepers and all athletes. In many cases, it's the start of great careers and enjoyment for youth goalkeepers, but it's not really addressed. So if you goalkeepers want to train your best, you want to feel healthy on and off the field, this is a YouTube live by Keeperstop, courtesy of Chris Kirkland for you. So share this. This is going to be a journey of successes and some stories that may help identify you with some issues and ways to combat it. So thank you, Chris, for joining us today.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of pressures on kids anyway, and you add football into it and life as well. Then the more that we can be done for mental health and more things available for people to get help from, then the better.
So a lot of these YouTube lives, you have guests on, you don't know who you have, it's just two guys discussing something. But I wanted to kind of put some gravity to this. I mean, we have Chris Kirkland here. He's an 18-year professional, right? He's a father, he's a husband, he's a coach now. He's a mental health advocate. So that's why this is an important conversation, especially who's sharing this with us. He's played at some of the highest levels, domestically and internationally. He's played, as I said, highest levels, but also experienced some of the lows of the game as well. So he started his career at Coventry City, where he's regarded as one of the best goalkeepers, most promising young goalkeepers. He played 4 seasons at Liverpool, 7 seasons with Wigan. I'm sure you get tired of hearing these sometimes. Loan spells at Leicester City, Doncaster Rovers, 3 seasons at Sheffield Wednesday, and finished with Preston North End. Most notably, if I may continue to go on, most notably he played for Liverpool in the UEFA Champions League in 04 and 05, international appearances in 2006, Player of the Year by Coventry City Players and Wigan Athletic as well. So again, we would think that you'd be sitting on top of the world and just loving everything about that experience. So that's why your experience is so important. You've experienced the highs as well as the lows. So
yeah, it was actually 5 years at Liverpool, 6 at Wigan. I'm going to correct you on that one.
Let me get back there.
Sorry about that one. Yeah, no, you're right. I've been lucky enough to start off young. When I was at Coventry, I managed to get in the team when I was 18. They looked after us great. I've played for some great teams. Liverpool. Probably the best football I played was when I was at Wigan between 2006, 2010. That's when I really hit the ground. Then that's when you understand your body. You get experience. So those 4 years there. The last 2 weren't so happy, and then Sheffield Wednesday, I managed to get it back at Sheffield Wednesday again, which again is another huge club like Liverpool. Fan base is just incredible. So them two clubs, extremely lucky to play for. But yeah, you're right. Towards the end of my career, it was more off the field. Everyday life stuff that was sort of hindering my goalkeeping.
We got a few highlights here from you from Sheffield Wednesday, courtesy of Goalkeeping Masterclass. So I just want to watch and understand who we're talking about. And I actually do remember some of these saves. Actually, the one that was looping back post, going to the right. It was let's see, it was one of the.
It's Millwall.
Yeah, it was. I do remember seeing that save. I'm like, yeah, 5'10" and a half. I'm never getting there, but it was great to see you do it.
Oh, save from Kirkland.
So we'll include this YouTube link in our description as well, so people can watch it. That's obviously not why we're here, is to watch, just your highlights. Even though we all can learn from some of your best. That save right there is the one from your best performances. So here's my first question to you. What do you love about goalkeeping? Just give us an honest, deep answer.
Do you know what? I actually started off on pitch, so I was an outfielder until I was 13, and I was never any good on pitch. And then because I was on the bench for the keepers, on the bench as an outfielder. The keeper got injured and I went in goal. I had to go in goal, and that's how I started off as a goalkeeper. So it was by fluke. But I just remember, loved getting muddy, loved diving around, loved going home, you know, dripping of mud and wet and all that in the winter conditions, and I think just flying around, making saves, you know, jumping on the floor, all sorts. That's when I really started to think, yeah, I really like this. I want to be a goalkeeper.
At what age did you start taking this a little bit more seriously, realizing that this is really something I could be good at?
Probably once I started, like I said, I was an outfield player. I didn't go in goal until I had to when I was 13 because the keeper got injured. But then it was probably 14, 15, probably 15 really. I went to a team in Leicester called Blaby and Whetstone, who were the team really. If you got to play for them, then you were doing well. Peter Shilton, Dion Dublin, Gary Lineker, they all played for this Blaby and Whetstone side when they were younger. So I got into that team. With that come the county football for Leicestershire. And then if you get into county football, you start getting watched off YTS teams or, you know, youth team, professional teams. So I was training with Leicester and Coventry, but Coventry just felt right, and I had a great relationship with Steve Grizovic, who was the #1 goalkeeper there. He used to train me on his nights off down at the Wrightington Lodge. And I had the choice between two of them, even though all my family were Leicester fans and I was born in Leicester. I mean, I've always been a Liverpool fan, so I signed for Coventry, and it was the best decision I could have made. It was a wonderful club. You know, they looked after youth team. Youth team have been very successful over the years. And the first team were doing well, playing it in the Premier League at Highfield Road. And things really progressed. When I signed there at 16, things really progressed really quickly then. You know, I made my way through the ranks, made my debut at 18, and then a couple of years later, I was off to Liverpool.
It's an amazing story. Things that we can only dream about here in the U.S. Just to kind of set up context here, tell us about your proudest goalkeeper moment. It could be one moment, it could be anything you want to share.
My proudest was signing my debut. First and foremost, my first professional debut was against Spurs for Coventry. Played against Tranmere in the old Worthington Cup in the midweek. The keeper got injured, and Magnus Hedman did. And then I made my debut against Spurs at the weekend. So that was always a highlight. But signing for Liverpool, you know, as I said, I've always been a fan. I used to go to the games with my dad when I was a kid. I used to stand in the Kop, and my first game was when I was 7, in 1988. I used to stand in the Kop and watch them play. So to sign for Liverpool, nothing will ever beat that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like an amazing experience. So you have an impressive playing resume. On the outside, it seems like you had everything going for you. When did you start to feel that something was off, maybe depression creeping into your life?
It was when I moved. So for 11 years, when I moved up to Liverpool in 2001, I was there for 5 years, then moved to Wigan, which is just down the road. So for 11 years, my life was, I could drop Lucy off at school, go training, pick her up after school, you know, go for lunch or go and play golf with a few of my mates in the afternoon. And then after 11 years, when I moved to Sheffield Wednesday, although we didn't relocate, I had to travel because my daughter was in school. My wife was very happy. I didn't want to move. This is where we always seen ourselves after I finished playing, living. So I started to commute to Sheffield, which is a tough journey. It's only a couple of hours, but it's a tough route to go. But to get there, you've got to set off like 5 a.m. to beat the traffic. So I was getting to training at 7. There was no one there. You know, you spend long hours in the car. You're not getting home till late, and then you realise you've got to get up again the next morning and go again. So it was just something that I wasn't used to at all. It completely changed my routine that I'd had ever since I'd been a footballer, and just struggled in the car. You know, the winter months when it was dark and cold, and you're getting home, you're leaving when it's dark, you're getting home when it's dark. It just started to play a bit on my mind, and you know, your mind can do strange things when you're in the car on your own and when you're left to your own devices. So I didn't really know what it was. I knew I just couldn't wait to get home. So even after training, I couldn't wait to get in the car, get home. After games, I was thinking about just getting home, you know, sitting on. I've always been a home person, but being out of my comfort zone, I suppose, was what triggered it off.
Yeah, I mean, we go through some conversations, you know, and it's not the same, obviously, but we deal with a lot of youth goalkeepers here, and we have conversations with youth goalkeepers all the time about, you know, the academy lifestyle, MLS Academy, going residency, going to school online, not seeing their friends. And we recently had goalkeepers that chose not to do MLS Academy because of, they like, you know what, this is out of my comfort zone. This doesn't make me happy. Yes, it's professional football. Yes, it's the best training that I'll get. but I want different experiences. So I appreciate you sharing that. You know, it was that change, it was that journey that started it. What were the symptoms did you feel, or how did you feel that your enjoyment factor for the game that you love started changing?
When I was thinking, like when I was at Sheffield, the first year was okay because the football sort of the 90 minutes, then I could forget about the way I was feeling and concentrate on the game. Second year, it started to creep in some of the games. I was just thinking, well, I can't wait to get home. And literally within 10 minutes of the final whistle going, I was in the shower and I was in my car, which is wrong. You know, you shouldn't be doing that. But that's how desperate I was. And then when I got home, because I'd been away from home most of the day, or over if I had to stay overnight in Sheffield, I just didn't want to do anything back home. I just wanted to shut the door, shut the gates, and not do anything, not socialise with outside friends or anything like that, because I thought, no, this is my time to be at home now. And so you sort of shut yourself off from the world, which is as we know is not good for the mind.
Yeah, I've only seen pictures and heard stories of you and your family. Sounds like a lovely family. So, you know, obviously we'd want to be home and, you know, experience everything with them. Did you feel like you could share your worries and problems with club or teammates? Was there help available for you?
Not at the start, no, I don't think there was. I think it's only been in the last probably 18 months, 2 years that mental health now is very much at the forefront. You know, you turn TVs on, you turn radio stations on, there's always something, you know, promoting mental health awareness, which is great, and which I hope, you know, it's a shame there wasn't that years ago. But no, I didn't. I mean, my wife knew I was, you know, you shield things as being the man of the house. You try and shield your daughter and your wife from it. But they knew, she just knew that I was homesick, and, you know, I was worried about travelling in the mornings and all that sort of stuff. But it wasn't, not until after a few years, really, you know, it manifested. And then I thought, if I get closer to home, you know, because I was going to sign again for Sheffield Wednesday for a 4th season. But then I just thought, I need to get back closer to home. And I thought that would help me, being closer to home. But by then I was too far along the cycle, you know, the vicious cycle of depression, that nothing helped then until I asked for help, and until I got professional help. That was the only way that things started to get better.
Do you think right now, knowing your experience and as a coach, what youth goalkeepers go through, players alike, do you feel that there is a stigma surrounding, you know, communicating mental health issues or asking for help? Do you feel there's a stigma still associated with it?
I think there will always be a stigma with it, but it's getting a lot better now. There's a lot more, you know, a lot more players are coming out, a lot more people in general. A lot of my friends have just said, since they've heard me say it, they've been and got help themselves. So, you know, I think there's a lot more things now available for people to feel comfortable to ask for help, and rightly so as well, because it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be, you know, annoyed at yourself, or how can you let yourself get like that. It's just one of these things, unfortunately, that can take hold of you without you really knowing what's happening before it's too late.
Probably the best thing for all of us to do is recognize it's maybe something you can't see, but it doesn't mean it's not there. And parents or coaches, you know, it's listen and, you know, watch, see if there's a change. You know, I think it's good that communication has to be there, especially at the youth level, because we always assume that it's a youth player that's not doing something because they made a conscious decision to make a mistake. There could be other underlying issues, such as anxiety, depression, what have you.
Exactly, and then you add, like you said, you add other things into it. Everyday normal life, you know, we all lose friends, we all lose pets sometimes, we all, you know, people always have tragedies in their own life as well, and these things can obviously add to that situation as well.
I mean, we know that you continue to play while undergoing some counseling and seeking outside help, which is amazing. What strategies did you use to stay positive and get back out on the field?
Well, I retired, actually, so I knew that I needed to retire. I tried coming back once when I asked for the first help, come back after it, but should never have done it, because it takes time. By that age, you know, if I'd have been younger then, I probably would have carried on, but I was 35, 36 then, and I thought, you know, well, I'm only going to carry on for another couple of years, so I need to, you know, I wanted to take time away then with my family. I wanted to, you know, we spent a lot of time together then, doing a lot of things that you're not really able to do while you play football. As daft as that sounds, people might find that a bit daft, but you know, you don't get to see your family as much when you're playing football because you're always away. You're always away pre-season. Your holidays are different to the school holidays where kids have school holidays. You know, you're in pre-season when they're off, so it can be difficult at times. So I just wanted to spend a lot of time with them, and you know, just spend time as a family and keep getting help off counsellors, and then eventually I went into a rehabilitation centre for mental health in 2019, about a year or so ago, just gone. So, which was the best thing I've ever done, and sitting here today, I feel equipped now, because I don't think it ever goes away, but you learn to, when you do start getting sweaty palms or start getting anxious, you get coping ways that you can cope with it. So I know what mine are now. I know exercise is a huge factor. You know, you've got to exercise. Talking and exercise are the two biggest things you can do for mental health. And you won't feel like doing it. Some days I don't feel like exercising, but you always feel $1 million after you've done it.
Yeah, it brings up a good point of one of the charities that you're involved with. I don't care where you are in the world. Chris is, along with other EPL pros, is involved with walkingsbrilliant.com. So if we can pull it up we can show them. So he raises money to help charities by walking and talking, as you said, through exercise. You know.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, we've got there's quite a few of us ex-footballers, but there's friends as well doing it. Everyone in the group has suffered at some point with mental health, and this was before post-COVID, obviously. So over here in England, I know it's different in the US. The NHS have just been incredible, you know, our local hospital services. So we decided then we were going to do it for mental health and for the NHS, to buy equipment and stuff. So yeah, we're all accumulate. We've got a few events coming up over the next 12 months, hopefully, once we can get back to doing events. And then next July we're going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, all of us, and it's going to be a documentary. There's a few TV crews that want to do a documentary on it, and just to highlight mental health even more during the documentary. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, make sure you share it with us, and we can share it with the Keeperstop community, because again, you know, I just think there's not enough attention paid to this. You know, if I may ask, get a little deep and personal a little bit, and you can share as much as you'd like, is, you know, as somebody that's also experienced highs and lows of the game, you know, sometimes you're just so anxious that it's hard for you to get on the field, or, you know, you just can't find a way to get out of bed and, you know, pull up the shades. I mean, you know, so we can understand, or youth goalkeepers and parents and coaches can understand, how did it feel? How bad did it get? You know, just so that youth goalkeepers and field players alike can feel like, you know, this is a real struggle, and there's a way out of it.
Yeah, well, I you know, I didn't want to be here anymore. I wanted to end my life. I just got to that point where every day I didn't want to wake up, and I couldn't wait to get to sleep at night. And you get to a point where you think, you know, is this always going to be the way I'm feeling? And obviously then you have them thoughts. But as soon as I did have them thoughts, obviously then, you know, it switched back to my wife and my daughter, not wanting my daughter to grow up without her dad, and not wanting my wife, who've been with 20 odd years, to grow up without a husband. So, and it was a tipping saw. It was either the seesaw was going to go one way, or it was going to go the other. And luckily it went the right way, and that's when I asked for help.
It's an amazing thing. I mean, I love one of the lines that you've used in some of your interviews, is like, you don't have to suffer in silence. It's okay to ask for help. You know, those are a couple.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not. As I say, it's not an embarrassment. It's not. You know, some people won't. Unfortunately, some people won't ask for help because they feel they can't for you know, they don't think they're strong enough. But you can do if you just dig down deep enough. And knowing that when you do that, you know, the wonderful thing about this world, yes, there be some mad stuff and some balmy things in the world, but there's also people there that will help you and can give you the help you need.
So I guess that brings up a great conversation point here, because I'm hoping there's a lot of parents that reference this, coaches that reference this. You know, based on your experience on and off the field and being an advocate for mental health, what suggestions would you have for parents or you know, counselors to keep lines of communication open for their developing players and goalkeepers, those youth athletes?
all as much as possible. I think businesses, you know, people that employ people have got responsibility now to put things in their workplaces. You know, you can do it at schools. Schools should have, you know, mental health shops in schools now. They should run them regularly. There should be counsellors in at schools as well. You know, footballers, parents, you know, we always said to Lucy, we've been honest with Lucy, she's 13 now, but obviously when I was going through it, she was, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we've been honest with her from day one. And I think if you have that dialogue with your child early, saying, look, if you've got any issues, no matter if you think you're going to get told off or if you think you're going to get in serious trouble, you know, always tell your mum and dad, or always tell, you know, a friend, or you know, don't bottle things up. But I think you can tell a lot now. I think you can tell by facial expressions on a lot of people if they are. I certainly can now. That's one of the things that I've learned from it. I can sort of tell now if somebody's not right, or, you know, even if they're telling me that, and they've got a big smile on the face saying they're fine. You can read expressions a lot deeper now with people. And but yeah, just keep asking them if they're okay and if you ever need to chat. So yeah, I don't think you can ask too much. I think some parents think, oh well, or some people think, well, we've asked him now, we'll leave him alone. You can never ask too much, because that one time you ask might be when they're feeling at their lowest, and they might just spill something out to you. They might just splurt something out to you there and then.
As a father and as a coach, you know that you know, many times, even though people don't want to be asked or approached, maybe deep down inside they are asking for help, and it just to know that somebody cares. Yeah. About their well-being and what they're going through and identifies it. That's a start.
Oh, it is. Yeah, like you said, it could just be that one time where they're feeling at the lowest, and something could trigger and they could open up. And then, you know, not everyone will, though. That's the shame about it. Not everybody will, for whatever reasons that they won't. But the more people we can get doing it and feel comfortable in society to do it, the better.
I mean, there's stories of goalkeepers having mental health issues. You know, we appreciate you know, speaking candidly about it, but, you know, we have stories of Robert Enke. You have, you know, many stories of players on or people on and off the field. I mean, we would love to have schools and clubs, you know, have mental health counselors or just counselors in general that can help address this. But what advice would you have for players that think they need help? How do you, if they don't have those resources, what's the first stage?
Well, obviously, I mean, it's a bit different here because it's the NHS, but it's private healthcare in America, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So go to your doctors, whoever's looking after your private healthcare, tell them you need help straight away. There's a lot of things online as well now. You can join Zoom meetings, Skype meetings, where you don't have to show your face, but you can join these groups where people go on to talk about how they're feeling, talk about the mental health. And just listening to that, I said, you don't have to join in, you don't have to show your face, you don't have to say anything, but you can just listen to people. And sometimes something will resonate, thinking, oh, well, actually, I feel that way. And then you can hear how that person's getting themselves out of it. So I've done a lot of Zoom calls over the last 4 or 5 months, hundreds of them, with different mental health charity groups that I didn't know existed. You know, that I had no idea what these groups do, and it's just general people, everyday people setting them up, and then more and more people eventually find out about them and come onto the chats, and it helps them tremendously. And it helped me tremendously doing them as well. So nothing's too much. If you're not sure on anything, ask, you know, somebody you're closest to, because the people that you know who your real friends are, they're not going to laugh at you, and they're not going to take the mickey out of you. I think we all know people that probably would, but they're not real friends. So just find that courage to ask for help.
It's important to surround yourself with people that make your life better and will pick you up when you're down. So I mean, that's great advice as well. I am intrigued about Yappa. I actually signed up for Yappa. I downloaded it on my phone. Can we pull up the Yappa? Huh? Oh, okay, we'll post later. So Yappa, anyways, we have Chris Kirkland is involved with Yappa, which he helped launch this with a entrepreneur. And wanted to help people suffering from mental health issues and open up dialogue amongst friends. So tell us about Yappa.
Yeah, well, Jack Knowles, he's the brains behind it all. He's a lad from Birmingham, and he suffered himself, but he seen my story come out on the BBC a few years back now, so it's probably 4 years ago, and he just got in touch with me on Twitter and said, look, I've got a great idea for a mental health app. Would you help me do it? Would you like to get involved with it? So I said, listen, come up. So we came up and got on great. He showed me the concept. He told me it was all going to be free. told me there was no pictures, there was no likes, like we see a lot on Twitter and Instagram these days. People think they have to get loads of likes, and there's nothing like that. It's generally just conversation. There's 3 updates coming out in the next month or so that are going to take it to the next level. There's going to be like a fitness app in there as well, a meditation section, a local help section. So if you're anywhere in the world, you press the button, it pings up your local help services. If you're feeling extremely bad, you know where to go and get help. And then there's going to be like an online chat thing coming onto it eventually soon as well. So yeah, he's going great guns, and yeah, we're delighted with the way it's going, and we think it could be a big thing. But obviously, again, the biggest thing is it's all free. It's free to download. It's not going to cost anybody anything.
I love the icons, like how you feeling today. To me, that kind of puts a exclamation point or a period on your emotion. It's like, and I love the conversation starter, that it could start within your group. If you put that you're just feeling bad or down, and that's the face that you put on, people can start asking questions, and because.
And with that as well, just coming back to that, with Yappa, so Yappa will know they've got the software now that if somebody is putting, I think it's 3 or more negative Yaps on the call, if they're really struggling, then Yappa will get in touch with that person. So they'll make sure that they get in touch with them and ask if everything's okay. But yeah, you're right. You can see how people are feeling, even though you don't speak to them. Sometimes it's easier for people to write it down or to show them, but not actually show emotions. So that's why he come up with that. I think it's a brilliant idea. As soon as I heard it, I thought, yeah, this could be great.
Yeah, I love it. We'll definitely have a link on it afterwards. I just love the fact that social media, you can be so disconnected. Even though you have 10,000, 100,000 views, you're still so disconnected. People can't see your true emotions and feelings, and your happiness is associated to likes. So that's one component. Social media it doesn't help our mental health by any means. If anything, it makes youth more depressed. Having young brothers and sisters that went through issues with that, but it's also, players get dropped off fields and they get picked up. Like that same banter that you probably had with a lot of your friends and I had with my friends playing, it's missing now. It's all here now. So thank you, Chris and Jack, for developing Yappa. We look forward to those updates and more to come.
Yeah, great.
So as we get closer to the end of this, your work with mental health is well known in the UK. What charities are you working with, and how can our viewers help?
Well, we do, obviously, the biggest one it's just about to get announced in the next week is with Liverpool Foundation. So I've been doing a lot of work for them because I sat down, about 7 months ago, thought, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to go back full time into football? I thought, no, I don't want to, because as a coach, it's longer hours, and I just thought I want to do different things. So I started going down to the foundation. There was like training sessions, kick sessions, there was mental health sessions down there, and I just literally started with it. And then they said, look, would you like to get involved with this? So I went down for a meeting. They showed me every project they did. They do like 26 different projects all over Merseyside, ranging from anything, and I'll be going to having my hand in each one of them sort of things. So I'll be ducking and diving in each one. So a lot of it's with veteran centres, schools, mental health problems, disabilities. There's everything they cover in Merseyside. So they do an amazing job, and I'm delighted that I'm going to be a part of that going forward.
I wanted to thank you two for through Chris Kirkland and GK Icon, Keeperstop's going to be involved in a charity they're working on with the NHS. So GK Icon and Chris have come up with a fundraising initiative. Would you like to talk about it for a second?
Well, I've just got the gloves here, actually. Hold on. Yeah, so with James, obviously, at GK Icon, and my daughter, we come up with these gloves. So we thought, right, what can we do? Because I keep mentioning the NHS. Obviously, they've been amazing during COVID over in Britain, and obviously mental health charities as well. So she designed these gloves. Obviously, it's got the NHS on GK Icon. It's in the NHS colours that are in England. And I just thought, right, what can we do? So I made contact with a lot of goalkeepers, as did James, and said, look, we're going to make these gloves. Will you sign them for us? And we're going to raffle them off. We were going to auction them off to start off with. So all the Premier League keepers and legends of the game, Peter Schmeichel, David Seaman, anyone that's played in goal basically over the last 30 years is signing these gloves. And we were going to auction them off, but then we thought, well, that's going to rule a lot of people out because money's tight for a lot of people at the minute. And if things start going for £500, £600, £700, it's going to rule a lot of people out. So we thought, right, we'll do a raffle. So we'll do a £10 a ticket, and you've got the chance to win these gloves signed by all the keepers. So I was down at Melwood the other day. Alison was signing all the gloves, and Adrian. So we've got everybody signing these gloves, and we think it could raise a lot of money, hopefully. So we've got a lot of advertisement coming up soon. The raffle details will go out in the next 2 weeks probably, with the chance for everyone to win a pair of these gloves, and everything we raise is going to go to the NHS and to mental health charities.
Yeah, that's great. And through James and Chris, Keeperstop also will have access to some of those gloves. We're going to support your NHS activities. Obviously, we help influence goalkeeper education worldwide. We're going to help with that, but you were kind enough to allow us to have some of those gloves as well, to also highlight mental health and mental health charities in the U.S. Because again, players, goalkeepers, on and off the field, COVID, this is a trying time for us all. So this is a worldwide initiative. So I wanted to thank GK Icon, James Clark, and Chris Kirkland for allowing us to be involved with it as well and help raise money and awareness. So thank you very much.
Yeah, well, it's called for the one out in America, it's going to be called the One World Glove. Yeah. So one world all together, and we'll get them gloves out to you as soon as we can.
We're looking forward to it. So I know you're in a tight timeline. It's a busy day for you, but I wanted to thank you very much for allowing us to talk candidly about mental health. Your real honest conversation on mental health, your experiences, your battles, your triumphs have helped thousands of goalkeepers and will continue to help goalkeepers and parents and coaches as they share this YouTube video. So goalkeepers, thank you for watching. Chris, thank you for sharing. And goalkeepers, parents, and coaches, please share, subscribe for more insightful goalkeeper content such as this. Chris, thank you very much. I'd love to, spend more time with you, but I know you have to go. So how can...
There's plenty more time, mate. I'll do another one of these for you. So just let us know when you need us again, and I'll come back on again.
Oh, I appreciate it. Enjoy your night. Best of the family, and we'll speak soon. Thank you very much.
Take care. Stay safe, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.